Exciting watches, this is what I review and promote. Wristwatches which left their mark in the history of horology, and today it is the case because I found a gem, a brand new collectible Longines Legend diver without a date. The modern Longines Legend diver was launched in 2007 at Baselworld, and it was without a doubt an exciting reissue, because people waited frustrated for more than 1 year to have the chance to buy one, so it took a while to put it into production. And it's exciting to mention the capability of the brand Longines to create an accurate reissue after the modern model from 1960s. As you know, in the 50s there was pretty much a competition to create reliable watches with higher waterproofness for divers. The exploration of the oceans was pretty trending in that period, but also jobs like diver welders was a reality. So Longines, a respectable brand in that period, came up with the release of the Nautilus Skin Diver in the late 50s, and in the beginning of the 60s with a waterproof watch based on a super compressor concept patented by Erwin Piqueres, the 7042, known today as the Longines Legend diver. The model was recognized as being a super compressor diver, but not only through the waterproofness concept, which was putting pressure on the O-ring gasket with the back case the deeper you were diving, but through the hashed crowns indicators as well. And going back to the accuracy of this reissue, Longines, with the 2006 mindset and the technology back in the days, managed to recreate the Legend diver, respecting pretty much the proportions without a date and the color palette of the vintage one. And that is impressive because back in 2006 there wasn't a viable trend on making accurate reissues, especially with fake patina lume. The trend appeared 10 years later. From my side, it's actually amazing because I had the chance to grab a new old stock one which haven't seen the light of the day for more than 15 years, remaining untouched and unused, having the sticker on the back case as well. Now, between the launch date and 2023, the brand was a bit confused on how to make the Legend diver appealing for the modern demands, because trends are changing but our preferences as well. So Longines, after 16 years of domination or lack of domination, came up with the updated modern reissue for the Legend diver, the 39mm case. And except for the iconic dial layout and the crowns, there are not so many common things between these models. As design language, no matter how we want to consider the Legend diver, this is an elegant watch. And no matter how I look at both versions, I can perceive them more elegant and practical than a diving instrument. And that is actually powerful because you don't see diver watches nowadays which can be considered dress watches as well. And despite the tool purpose of the watch, this is one of the fewest diver watches which works with leather straps, because as core strengths before being a diver watch has an elegant profile and falling lugs, an all polish finish, has an all dial box sapphire and a suave elegant dial with a long pattern of markers which invades the lacquered center of the dial, making room for the 12, 3, 6 and 9 numerals. So the Legend diver offers a strong composition which is complex towards the exterior, becoming simpler and clearer towards the center. We can call it a statement watch having a bit of presence, a unique design having 2 crowns, and a thin profile which works with all sorts of NATO's leather or rubber straps. And the overall result is of a reflective premium watch on the wrist. Now, moving into the highlight of this video, we got it, the Longines Legend diver without a date is rare. But compared to the new Legend diver, it's actually interesting to see how different they are and how the actual model is tailored to meet the current trends. As case dimensions, it's obvious the first model is larger with an all polished case, where the newer one has the front polished but brushed sides. And speaking about the case profile, we can preview how different these watches are. The first iteration has an almost one-to-one profile with the vintage one, a thin case profile which changes its angle towards the long ends of the lugs, where the modern one has a sharper, compact profile with lesser personality but better sized. Proportions wise, as I described, described it, the larger one has literally a wide dial with a thinner inner bezel but with the same inner dial composition, where in the case of the newer model, the inner bezel is thicker, contributed to a busier dial because proportions-wise, despite the smaller dial, the proportions of the numerals, the logo and the automatic label are pretty much the same as the ones from the 42mm version. They both unveil an elegant lacquered surface, but the markers and the loomed elements on the initial version is printed where the new one has embossed numerals and minute baguettes. And as color palette, you just can't ignore the silky cream patina color of the markers and the numerals compared to the white ones of the 39mm version. But overall, with the sun falling on the dials, the older model has a warm appearance thanks to the air coating, where the AR of the modern one is cold, it's bluish. Now, besides making the newer model actual, they took care of the ISO standard as well. In regard to the second hand, which received a loomed accent in the shape of an arrow. Also, the main hands were extended with a fully loomed hour hand, and the shape of the minute hand is now conical, being thinner at the base, increasing slowly in width towards the top. Where in regards to the iconic 42mm version, the loom is pretty much a joke. I mean, it is again accurate to the original one, but the distribution of the loom is way too confusing throughout the dial, with the small loomed accent on the hour tip and the minute hand needle accent. Where the modern one offers a multitude of blue and green loomed accents, being quite a pleasure to preview and enjoy the LLD in low light conditions. Specifications wise, the correct reissue measures 42mm in diameter with 52mm as lug tip to lug tip, 14mm in height, that's due to the box sapphire crystal, which has around 4mm, 22mm as lug width and weighs 88 grams. Both watches have a box sapphire crystal with screwing crowns with hash marks which ensure 300 meters war resistance, and inside we obviously have different calibers. The initial no-date version has the caliber L633.5, which is based on the ETA 2824, where the modern one has the caliber A31L1, which is based on the ETA 2892A2. And that, believe me, it reflects in the price as well. If the 2008 42mm version was available at retail for $1,400, the new LLD retails on the bracelet for $3,000. Imagine how much the inflation increased over the years. However, because the 42mm no date was discontinued, it became highly collectible. Currently, it is sold potentially over the $3,000 price of the newer one. So I wouldn't say it's an investment diver, but definitely a watch with a lot of value retention. In regard to the comfort, the new 39mm version is sublime. It is extremely comfortable with or without a bracelet. The case design is made in a way to lay down on the wrist surface, and the bracelet is extremely comfortable, being the best beads of rice I've ever tried. In regard to the 42mm version, although it is a watch with presents and long lugs, it is wearing surprisingly well. The lugs are designed to make the watch profile to sit on the wrist surface, so the result is of a wide design with an open dial being very thin. It is a matter of perception as well. When you put it on the wrist, it feels big, but if you look in perspective, it doesn't look big at all. I personally like this 42mm version because it is a strap monster. Works with NATO straps, but especially with thicker leather straps, as you can see on this 7 Friends and Watches wing strap. And as overall impressions, the newer model is definitely built like a tank despite its size, but price-wise I wouldn't say it is worth $3,000. However, if you're looking for an iconic, distinct design with a generic pedigree to be worn in any circumstances, the 39mm version is the watch to go. I am personally in love with it. So, hope you enjoyed this walk through the Legend Diver world, and I'm really curious to know which one do you prefer and why. Please let me know in the comments below. And as usual, if you're new around, please consider subscribing for future episodes. Thank you very much, thanks for watching, and until next time, be brave and stay safe.